Lisa Ann is in studio, former adult film star, very, very successful.
Thank you.
As far as adult film stars go. And let me tell you something, very successful in making the transition out of the industry. A lot of people, I feel like, when they want to get out of the adult film industry, they kind of don't know how to do it, and they'll not embrace it anymore. Like one day, they'll just announce to all their fans, I don't do that anymore. And then it's like, yeah, can I come on the radio show? Well, I don't want to talk about porn
it's
anymore.
such a tough thing. I tell people it's kind of like being in a gang. Okay, so you're in this really unique group of people. You're in this very unique situation. The money is easy and quick.
Right.
The lifestyle is unique and fun. And so there's all these things.
And I would imagine, too, that you get hit with this instant shot of fame. That's got to be very appealing because you didn't, like, all of a sudden you're famous and people are paying attention to you.
I'll tell you, it's not the most appealing form of fame. Like, if I was Steph Curry and I'm making 45 points a night, that's some damn good fame.
Yeah.
But when a guy walks up to you, he's like, I love when you get cum on your face.
Right.
Then you're like...
Taking 45 loads a night is not the same.
Yeah, and the commentary that comes with the interactions, like, it's not like people walk up to you and like, hey, Sam, how are you? It's great to see you. I love your show. For me, it's like, man, I love when you do fucking anal, man.
Yeah.
They say it like, I was at a Starbucks with my parents. It's like 5 years ago. And I'm in the line, and I could tell by the look in someone's eye if they've watched more than 100 hours of my tape, right? So I look at this barista, and
Is that the cutoff line, 100
that's
hours?
when it's like, okay, I don't need to know any more than that.
Yeah.
So I look at this barista, and he's looking at me. He goes, what's your name? So I used my mom's name, of course. I wasn't going to say my name. He goes, you look more like a Lisa to me.
Oh,
so
no.
I'm like, okay, I have one more step. I have to go to that side, pick up these coffees, and turn around and hand them to my parents. I could do this.
Yeah.
I walk up. As he's handing me the coffees, he goes, Lisa Ann, I loved your gangbang.
Why would he go that
In front
far?
of my parents.
Like, couldn't he just say, I love
It's
your
not
work?
That they don't know, but the gangbang.
Yeah.
And it was so like my hands were dripping with sweat. The coffees almost dropped out. My mom was laughing at me because she's like, I never saw you lost so much color at one time. You just fell to the floor. So, yeah, it's an interesting fame. But the breakaway is also... It can be a lot of your own internal battle.
Yeah.
I know for me, even my family, people that from my whole life have kind of instilled doubt in me by telling me what I've done has ruined my life forever and I'm never going to get another job. And I know I'm not the only person that's heard that. Uh-huh. So whether it's boyfriends of the past with these girls or whether it's family, there's doubt instilled.
Right.
So that makes the fear even harder.
Right.
Plus, you have to put a little nest egg aside so that when you're making this jump and you go from making porno money to radio money.
Yeah.
Now, your radio money's real, but my radio money's just
your
radio money's way more real than my radio money.
I like to at least give the impression that it is.
Well,
we'll
I'm
trick
sure
people for now
is.
into thinking that it is. I mean, my name's on the wall. I got to be a millionaire, right?
Well, you're doing okay.
Right.
But we know it's not like compared to stripping and everything else. When people say, "Would you give up?" I'm like, I gave up 99.9% of my income.
Yeah.
So but what's neat is when you make that transition and you actually get it out of your head and you get an opportunity, which Sirius gave me, which changed my life, then from there you just got to say, wow, I'm really happier. All that extra money didn't really change much. It's great to save it and have it, but you start to change. And I think a lot of the girls get addicted to things like purses and shoes and things. And these are all little addictions that people fall into, traps of society.
Right.
And then it's even harder when you go and get your first check and it's, $500 and you were there for 2 weeks, what I mean? With taxes taken out.
Right.
They're like, what's all this? They were getting paid as an independent contractor. They didn't pay taxes.
Right.
So they're like,
cash.
what do you mean? Who's Uncle Sam? Like, what's going on? So there's a lot of things that hit everybody at one time.
Right. And it's like, not only do you not have money for things anymore, like you're probably not doing lunch. We're doing breakfast and dinner. That's the money we have. We're making breakfast and dinner money.
You're buying groceries and you're being responsible with
right.
it.
You're packing a salad from home.
Yeah. You know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be, but it's a transition. You got to really want it.
I think you also, I would think that you can't just decide, this isn't right anymore, I'm going to stop. Like, you have to realize probably quite a bit in advance, like, I need to start developing other skills.
Well, at 40, I was already doing another show on Sirius called Stripper Town, and it was actually a super fun show. Guys would call in and tell us traumatic stories that happened to them at strip clubs.
It's great.
It was so great. Like, do you know how many guys have gotten thrown up on by strippers during lap dance?
No idea.
Didn't know.
No, I don't.
Amazing. A lot.
I
you
guess,
know?
okay.
And it was like great hearing the stories. And I started talking a lot of sports, and someone there said to me, why don't you try something out here? They're looking for another fantasy thing. Playboy Channel just went off, and they had a show, so it kind of helped me really get there. But before that, at 40, I was like, okay, You're 40.
Yeah.
You're still doing porn. You're meeting girls in strip clubs that are looking at you on a regular basis and going like, oh my God, like my mom's younger than you are. And that was like normal.
Right.
Right before I'm going, and I'm like, yeah, you're growing out of this. You got to get it together. So,
and as great as Julianne Moore as a person is, Julianne Moore in Boogie Nights at that point is not like, oh, one day.
So you don't want to be Stifler's mom. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's not what you want to end up being. So at 40, I started to put my plan in motion.
Okay.
And so by 42, halfway through the year, which was last December, I completed my mission.
Right.
So it was well thought out. It was well organized.
Did your fans get mad at you?
No, but I told no one. Not any of my peers, not any of the people on my production company. I told no one because I really wanted to make it about me and be sure that people weren't swaying my head in a different direction.
And people will also block you if they think that you're trying to, if it's just like, oh, she's just a fun porn star that does radio.
Right.
Then it's like, okay, and you're just like slowly tricking everybody. But you were also smart because I think a lot of people in your position, they do what you said. Like they want to be instant stars. Like they want to be like, okay, well, especially you, who was a big star as far as adult entertainment goes, like a headline person.
Yeah.
But you're not going to then go into another industry and get to be Howard Stern.
No, you get to start over.
Exactly.
And starting over has to be something you want to do because you're kind of afraid of your situation. You're your boss yet. You're not real stable with your job. Your first contract coming up. You're like, are they going to keep me?
Yeah.
You know, that insecurity has to be something you want. I was really ready at that age.
Yeah. And I think you also have to, and like I was saying before, I've known other people who have left and like tried to disavow any knowledge of it. I never want to talk about it. I just don't want to do that at all anymore, and we don't want to talk about that. And it's like if you don't own that part of it, it doesn't go away.
And the thing that's great is I'm in a time capsule now, and I told my fans this, like, hey, there's so much good scenes out there. I was doing it for 24 years.
Right.
You know, if you've seen them all, then maybe you need to seek help. If you can't find a new one, then you've got a problem.
Yeah. And you can watch them more than once.
And you know what? Still enjoy it, but I get to age gracefully now and not be so worried about being on camera. I will be that age and younger forever to you guys.
So is that what it was? It was just like, we can't keep doing this. It was an age thing and it was time?
It was time. I wanted to change my life. I wanted to start over. I wanted to have less travel on my schedule. I wanted to have a more normal life, cook my own food, sleep in my own bed. I mean, after 20 years of hearing housekeepers in shitty hotels banging on doors every day of your life, and then they leave the little door jam thing in, they just slam the door every time they're in and out of the hall.
Just ignoring the do not disturb. Well, it's been 2 days. You must want to be disturbed.
No, fuck you. I'll make my own bed. I'm in an 8x8 room. I can handle this. I got it. I'll throw the towels in the hallway on the floor.
Yeah.
You know,
everything's fine.
So it's a lot of things building up and just like wanting to live at a different pace.
Yeah. And so what has the response from the industry been like now that they know you're really not doing it anymore?
My fans have been dope.
Yeah.
My fans have been so dope that Playboy put a petition out this year to vote for me to get back in the business. And 99.9% of my fans wrote, she's so fucking happy now. She did it for us for long enough.
Wow.
We still have this content out there. We love her new gig. And people have said to me, like, even in your Instagram photos, you're smiling more. You just seem happier. You just seem lighter. And I'm like, well, yeah, I work like 2 days a week. It's fucking awesome.
And you also, you didn't become this prude who doesn't talk about stuff anymore. You're still out there.
At this time last year, I was doing a gangbang. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it feels great to know that.
It does.
Because right now I'm so PG-13 in the world, but in my mind I'm like, yeah, I remember that day. It was fucking awesome, man. I laid out how it was going to go down. I wanted them to be movers. Come in and move some of my furniture. You know?
Were you calling the shots at the end
yes,
of your...
I produced and directed all my movies my last 2.5 years.
Is that the key to doing it, is to maintain some of the power so that you don't feel like, you know, somebody else has power over you or your body or whatever?
It's more in the sense that when you own the content, I was able to make my time more valuable. So I was able to use the content for my website.
Right.
I was able to sell it to cable, VOD, Europe. So you get all these different deals coming in all the time.
Right.
So it can be a nice passive residual income for the rest of your life.
Right. And it's still out there. And like all the websites are still using it and all the on-demand, I'm sure, is
I still carry it
using
with me everywhere I go. Porn is like currency.
Yes.
Like if you show up at a car wash with 5 really good DVDs for a tip, the dude is like ready to lick your tires. You know what I'm saying?
and you were smart enough. I mean, probably the most valuable thing you have is that you kind of look like Sarah Palin and Tina Fey.
Yes.
So all these fantasies that people have Whether it's about 30 Rock or whether it's about Sarah Palin,
Yep.
you did the porno parody movies.
So it was beautiful.
You loved it.
So much.
Have you heard from either of those two people?
Tina Fey wrote a bit about me in an American broadcast speech about 3 years ago. Well, probably longer since Palin was 208. So it was probably 208 or 209. She said, Lisa Ann might know more about foreign policy than Sarah Palin, but I know more about three ways than both of them. She also wrote a little segment into 30 Rock where they produced a scene and she had a girl play me. So it had great, but nothing good from Palin. You know, Palin was here 2 weeks ago with Bristol during the day. And my boss, Matt, called me and he's like, yo, Palin's here. I'm going to ask her crew if you can get a photo. I live close. I was like, I'm in the shower and makeup and standing by my door. I know they're going to say no, but I think it was more of like he thought it was fun to ask.
Yeah,
it was fun to ask.
You got to. I can't believe, because I thought you were going to say that your boss called you and said, stay out of the fucking building.
No, I did stay out on my own, but part of me thought, you know, I have badges. I could sneak by, maybe just get a selfie of her walking by, but she'd probably have me hit.
Or just to be in the building at the same time. She would know exactly who you were.
She would know exactly. I would know exactly who she was. It would have been even better if I could have dressed like her, but that's pushing it.
Yeah, I
It
guess
is still
so.
fun to walk around dressed like her on occasion.
Do you?
Once in a while. I did it for Halloween this year at the
With
New
the
York
super
Comedy
low
Club.
cut thing?
Of course.
You got
Short
to.
skirt. It's like, you know, the hooker version of a suit.
Right.
You know, and it's funny because I just saw this thing in the Sirius in our cafeteria where you can donate executive women's clothing to help women get jobs. And I'm thinking, I have a whole closet of suits. And then I thought to myself, but none of them are appropriate enough for a job.
Yeah, no.
So they still cannot be donated.
I have a ton of blazers, no shirts. I don't know how that
And
happened.
the skirts are about this short.
Right.
You know, so we're going to, maybe small people only.
Did you know Nailin' Palin was going to be a game changer for you?
It's funny, I didn't. And when I wrote it in my planner, on the day, it just says Hustler movie. And I save all my planners as like a little bit of a journal because I
Sure.
write notes. And it just says Hustler movie. That's it. And I look back at that and I didn't change it because I'm like, that's the irony of not knowing what's going on. Like,
Right.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, because you did Nailin' Palin, which was the Sarah Palin porno parody, and it became like as big because that was right when Sarah Palin was running. The whole
Oh, we released it Election Day. We shot it in October. They had it edited and ready and dropped it on Election Day. Then we did another one, Obama's Nailin' Palin. Then we did an interactive called Your Nailin' Palin.
Which
then
is
we
fun.
did Hollywood's Nailin' Palin. Like, you know, we had to like ruin it.
Right,
Which
right.
we did.
Well, you got to. I mean, it's the Hollywood tradition. You figured
have
out
to ruin it.
there's some money in a movie. We can make a ton of these.
Let's ring this thing up.
I have to tell you, you know how many Saw movies I saw? 7. I saw every Saw movie there was.
They also made these Sarah Palin masks for Halloween. And so I was able to take them to like events and have people wear them at shows and everyone sitting there, but it was my face as Sarah Palin,
Yeah.
which made it even funnier. It was a fun project to do, and especially for Larry Flint.
Yeah.
And it's such a big part of our history in the adult business.
Yeah,
I make every young person I know watch The People versus Larry Flint.
you do.
Because he was so dope back then.
So you take pride in the history of porn and adult entertainment.
I do.
Wow.
It's interesting.
So do you love the business?
I did love the business. The
Wow.
business was
So
very...
you didn't come out of it bitter and being like this is abusive to women.
I
and-
went in bitter. I went in broken and came out whole. And I
gave
know
you a
that
home.
doesn't happen for many people, but I found myself, I was able to have a lot of great sex. Whereas if I was a single girl, I wouldn't be arranging like a gangbang at my place.
Right.
How to get 6 dudes that get along with each other that are willing to do this, right? But on set,
Right.
you can make something like that happen.
Right.
And there's credible witnesses, so nothing bad's going to happen to you. There's a makeup artist, there's a camera dude, there's a boom guy. You're like, I'm safe here.
Right.
Let's rock this.
It's like getting weird guests together in a radio studio that would never talk to each other,
Yes.
except you're getting them all to have sex with each other.
Yes.
Which is even to the next level.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Huge.
it was such a great experience and traveling all over the world. And once Palin happened, I got to go to Europe. I got to go to Finland. I got invited to countries to go and do appearances as Palin, which I thought was like, I'm going to ride this wave. It's so fun.
Yeah. But there's no part of you that's kind of like, oh, I want to do one more scene.
No. You know what? It's funny.
did it.
I finally got my first offer just 2 days ago since I left. And I was doing an interview the other day, and somebody said to me, "Has anyone offered for you to come back?" And it kind of like made me feel bad. I'm like, no, that sucks. No one's ever offered me to come back. It's kind of fucked
Would
up.
you ever think about coming back? Yeah, but nobody wants
And then I got
me.
the text the other day, and I was like, well, let's see how much money they're talking about, just because I just want to see. And he
Sure.
said it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm totally retired, and I'm not going to do it, but thank you so much for asking.
Was it
It's
a
just
lot
good
of
to know.
money?
It was a lot of money. It was 5 times more than I made at the same time last year.
Doing the gangbang?
Just doing a regular scene.
Wow.
Yeah.
5 times
5
more.
times. But I made this commitment to myself, and that's like an addiction. You know what I mean? It's like drugs. It's like going back. Is that money going to change my life? No, but it is going to change my life to go back to doing that
Especially
again.
since you got out successfully.
Yes.
Then it's like if you screw up the retirement,
right?
Then it's
exactly. So I'm sticking with this plan, but I had to like see how much they're,
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Boy of your choice," and I wrote back, "I always work with the boy of my choice." So that's not even like you're not even throwing me candy there, kid. You know?
Right. So speaking of the boys of your choice, you end up with a lot of athletes, right? Like these are the guys. If you're gonna date somebody in your personal life, you like dating athletes.
I don't really date them, but we hang out. It's very casual. It's simple. And the reason I
So
find
when you
myself...
say hang out, you talking about hooking up?
Yeah, maybe have a bite to eat,
right?
Watch a movie, play some video games,
Netflix and
have sex.
And have sex after that. Okay,
yeah, and that's it. Or as we say on the other channels, coloring. Since I'm supposed to be family friendly.
You can't even say have sex on the other channels?
I just say coloring instead.
Okay, so people get it.
Yes, they get it.
Okay, but you're fucking these guys after you play some video games. You sound like a blast.
I'm just a dude in a girl's body, that's all. And so it's not complicated because you know what? They don't want commitments.
No.
They're not going to fuck with me because they don't want to lose their career.
No.
And to be honest with you, most of them can't even be seen with me because of judgments, of endorsements, and of things. And I don't mind that.
Because you're not looking for a relationship.
I'm not looking to swag it out and ruin it with any of my other shit. Me rolling behind, me and being chill with everybody allows me to have more of everybody. No conflict of interest because no one knows.
And they're not telling each other.
No.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So I'm not going to ask you any names.
Right.
Because you wouldn't tell me anyway.
Right.
You're too smart for that.
Yeah.
But you would have names in the Rolodex that I'd be like, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And you know what's great? There's guys right now that I hook up with that are the age of when I hooked up with the first athlete that played for their same team.
Meaning that they're young.
Yeah, they might be like 21. I'm like, wow, you weren't even born yet when I was banging a Dallas Cowboy back then. You know what I mean?
You like that.
Wow. It's just good irony.
Right. And
I have strange thoughts.
It's irony, but it's an accomplishment for you.
It's
not
right.
that. It's
could
not
be
like
considered creepy, but I think it's awesome.
not every 42-year-old woman could pull that off.
43 now.
43.
But
well,
thank you.
Congratulations.
You
don't look a day over 42.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm at my half birthday. I don't know if you know this, but the young people today, they have half birthdays, like 6 months through the year.
They always need a little celebration, don't they?
I didn't know what this was about, but
So
now
stupid.
I started celebrating my half birthday too.
Well, because those are the people you hang out with, right? The youngsters.
But you know what? They love to play video games. They watch good, dumb movies. When you date someone my age, they want to like look up the fucking reviews on the phone before we rent a movie or download a movie. It's like, let's just watch a stupid movie. Let's watch the other guys 500 times.
Right. Or that poster looks so stupid. Wait, we got to watch this movie.
Of course. And they're like, let's see this one. It's Captain Phillips. I don't want to watch Captain Phillips. It's 3 hours long.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I know what happened. They kidnapped the guy, and then he's fine. It's a true story.
Yeah, I saw the news. I saw bits. That's all I need. It was bits.
I read the headlines. I got what happened. Everything's fine.
It's the simplicity. So maybe one day I'll settle down. I was married once, and I loved it.
You loved being married?
I loved being the household manager, cooking, cleaning, taking care of things.
You weren't
I felt like
working
I had
at the
great
time?
purpose. We were feature dancing together. He was my roadie out on the road. I wasn't shooting. This was during the break after we had an HIV outbreak in 1997.
Oh, okay.
I took a 5-year hiatus out of fear for my life.
Yeah, that'll do it to you.
Yeah, it kind of freaked me out. And then we got some better testing systems, and that made me helpful to come back.
How do they convince you that the testing systems are good? If HIV squeaks by, how do they convince you that they've figured out a better way to test?
It's still not good, but I'm going to tell you how bad it used to be. Okay. We used to drive to Venice Beach. There was this one doctor that drew your blood, and it looked like you could catch something just from getting your blood drawn in there. It was like in the ghetto of Venice Beach.
Drawing blood with the same needle for everybody.
And they did it every 90 days, and it was the old school ELISA test, and you'd get your results in an hour, and you'd get a piece of paper. And that was one piece of paper with a gold seal on it. And guys would, of course, fold it, put it in their pocket, wash it. You know, they'd show up. You couldn't read the date. So there was no internet. So I couldn't go and look up your hard copy.
Right.
So this is where it got better. We started testing every 2 weeks. We started posting it online.
There's
you're able
a
to look up.
registry.
You're able to look up your talent's history, you know, and see how often they test, all these things.
Right.
So.
And it's a third party thing. So the doctor's entering it in. It's not like, okay, now go home and update this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? And it was easy for me to keep a credit card down at the testing centers. And if I was working with a guy that worked a lot, I would pay for him to test the day before we worked together.
Did that become a stressful thing when you got tested? Like, did you every time go like, oh my God? Or did you realize that because everybody's testing all the time, it's probably not going to happen.
You say, oh my God, every day.
You do.
And every day you drive to set, you say, oh my God.
So you're just sitting there going, holy shit, I might get AIDS. Holy shit, I might get AIDS. Holy shit, I might get AIDS.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that was in my mind for a long time, which is another reason. These were the list of things burdening me that made retirement seem so freeing.
That's like ridiculous pressure.
And
Do you ever wake up now thinking you might have AIDS?
No, but I did realize that for the first time in years, I'm on my 1-year anniversary of not taking antibiotics out of fear.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
you don't have
it
to take
feels so
the AIDS
great.
cocktail, even though you never had anything.
Well, so no, what I would do is I'd do a scene. I'd survey the situation halfway through the scene because I didn't drink or do drugs on set. You know, I wasn't like, I was there in the moment.
Yeah.
And I'd look around and there'd be like a girl I'd realize she's kind of sketchy. And all of a sudden I'd go, oh my God. And there was this porno doctor and you could go to him at any time and he'd give you a shot. You don't know what's in it, but he's like, it'll kill everything. And I would just drive over there and be like, I don't feel good about that scene I just did, man. I showered 3 fucking times. I'm still freaking out. Give me the shot. And there were times I did it, 6 to 7 times a year.
Wow.
And that's not good for your body.
No. I mean, they say doing too much Purell is bad for you.
My shit was just like, give me the booster in my butt. Throw a B12 in there while you're in there. Okay.
I feel like you'd be getting the flu all the time. Like your immune system must have gone to shit.
It went to shit. It really did. And I haven't taken antibiotics as celebration, and I haven't been sick.
Right.
1 minor cold in the year that I've been done. But yeah, it affects everything, your skin, everything. But yeah, so no antibiotics. But you do fear it. If you have common sense, you drive there thinking that. Knock on wood. 2 out of maybe 3 out of every 4 people in the business have herpes. It's a very common thing. We don't test for it in the U.S. In Europe, they do.
Uh-huh.
And I
Why don't we test for it in the U.S.? Is it just because the idea is, well, so many people have it. If you get it, who cares?
Yes.
That sucks.
And the agents would tell the new girls, you're probably going to get herpes. And they would also tell them, like, just so you know, just take Valtrex when you have an outbreak. And I would tell the girls, I would try to like rationalize. I'd say, well, do you only take the pill when you're going to have sex?
Right.
No. You have to take the pill all month for it to be effective.
Right.
Valtrex works the same way.
Right.
Don't listen to your agent. So knock on wood, I never got it. And that was another thing.
Wow, congratulations.
I know, see?
That's a huge accomplishment.
I know.
You went through, how long was your career, did you say?
24 years.
24 years without herpes?
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
Most people in the street can't say that.
Yeah, no. I don't think Adrian can say it.
But I did show up on set times where I canceled the scene because I've worked with people that I know have it.
Right.
But as long as they don't have an outbreak present, I didn't have to be concerned about
So
it.
you'd
If they
see an
did, I would
outbreak.
say, like, I'm just not comfortable working today. I think we should take this scene off.
What kind of nerve is it to show up on the set with an outbreak? Like, if that's a sick day.
Girls do it all the time. And guys do it too.
Wow. And they just are like, well, no, I just have herpes.
Like,
That's
yo,
fine.
I don't even want to be in studio shaking your hand when I have a cold, let alone be like, she's got some shit going on, but no problem. You
Right.
don't mind, right?
You already have the porno stigma. Now you also have herpes.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, God
So,
damn
like,
it.
my last year, every shoot, I would be like, is this going to be the shoot? Is this it? Are you going to get it? Like, is this going to happen?
Especially because you know that you're retiring.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh no, one scene too many. One game too many.
It was a horror of life the last year, yeah.
My gosh.
You have to be aware. I mean, I'm not like in a plane thinking it's going to crash, but that was like you're playing with fire. How long are you going to play with fire? How long are you going to do
Yeah. So what did you think? What did you think when you found out that Charlie Sheen had contracted HIV?
It's something that he interacts with a lot of talent in the business. A lot of the girls. Remember when he had the girls? What did he call them? They weren't his angels. His
goddesses. Yes, his goddess. Well, Brie Olson.
Yes, and she didn't know.
That's what she said. She went on Howard's show and she said she had no
didn't
idea.
know. And this is where trust comes into play with the people that we're with. But I always avoided people that did drugs to that excess.
Yeah.
Because I always knew nothing good can come out of that. So that wasn't my circle. So it didn't surprise me.
Right.
And in 2013, we had 4 HIV positives in the industry.
What?
And they were all kind of local LA based, 1 guy, 3 girls. And I kind of was like, wow, I wonder who they were messing with in LA that has it.
Yeah.
It's all just, you're putting your risk out there with everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, when it happened to Charlie Sheen, it's like, do you want anybody to get a HIV? No, but I said, if anybody was going to get HIV, Charlie Sheen has done everything feasible that one could do to get HIV.
He opened every door.
Right.
This is the hallway that's got the HIV risk.
Right.
Oh, you're in every door. Whereas you and I are like, I'm running by that door.
Right. If there's one person who needed to get HIV because to prove to anyone
That this can happen.
that actions have consequences. Thank God it was Charlie Sheen.
And when people were saying on the news in different interviews, well, you know, we were partying, but we always use a condom. I'm going to be honest with you. Every single person in this room has drank too much once and not had safe sex, right?
Right. Well,
Okay.
I mean, I don't. Sure.
We all have done it once when you're young and irresponsible. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean,
Right.
Adrian does it every weekend.
Right. So, I mean, really, you guys are all doing like crazy drugs. You're all looted out. And then let's get let's go get a box of Trojans. It's not fucking happening, people.
Yeah.
It's not happening. You spent that money on rolling papers. You made the executive decision at the bodega. Do we get condoms or do we get rolling paper? We get rolling papers, man.
I feel like when you're on weed and ecstasy, you're going to go, you know what? Let's stop everything and make sure we're safe.
You couldn't even pull that thing out of the wrapper on ecstasy, man. That would ruin your whole thing. You would no longer be having sex. You'd just be playing with the wrapper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever get into drugs and alcohol and partying and all that
Alcohol
scene?
was never really my thing. I didn't start drinking until I was in my 30s. I started dancing young enough that I was seeing, I always say there's nothing worse than an incredibly drunk woman, but an incredibly drunk stripper is worse. And so as a young girl, I wasn't 21 yet. So at 18, working in clubs where I had to be 21 to drink, it was easy for me for those 3 years to just go, yeah, that will never be me.
Right.
I also knew I made the most money from midnight to 2 a.m. because all the other girls were hammered. So that was like my peak work time. And I always promised myself I would never mix work and pleasure. So that means if I'm at a bar working, I cannot be drinking. Now, drugs, I went through my fun little ecstasy phase in the 90s. That's kind of how I met and fell in love with my husband. I tell people now, after a week binge on E, do not move in with someone. Because eventually you're going to run out of ecstasy.
Right. And
And you're going to be like, whoa, how'd this shit happen? We're fucking married?
Yeah.
Damn. This is complicated now. Let's get some more ecstasy.
Right.
How about you?
No, I don't do any drugs or
You
alcohol.
never dabbled?
Never.
That's fantastic.
No, I mean, that's what people say. I think
You're
it's
going to
just
live to be so much healthier.
probably not. I
Seriously.
mean, I drink soda and eat fast food constantly.
Nah, it's a difference. It's the gray matter in your brain. The more I read and study, what it does. You ever talk to somebody that does a lot of drugs? You don't see them for a year or two, and then you see them again. It's kind of like chatting on the internet. You talk to them, they have to read it, but you're right in front of them.
Right.
It does fry your fucking brain.
Yeah, no, I know a lot
The
of people.
alertness gone.
Yeah.
I would look at girls, I'd be like, whoa, she's totally in slow motion, and we're right here right now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I know people that are fried, and it's like you talk to him now. I'm like, is he fucked up right now? And it's like, no, this is unfortunately
residue.
This is just him.
And they're almost more normal when they get fucked up.
Right, because it levels them out.
Yes, that's what they say.
So you said that you liked being married, but obviously you get divorced. Why did you get divorced?
Well, I married my first boyfriend after a week on ecstasy. So
That was your
probably
first boyfriend?
He was my first serious boyfriend.
How
He's
old
the
were
only
you?
guy I ever lived with, 24.
And you had not had a boyfriend before then?
No, I wasn't into the serious thing. I learned
So you've
young
never
in high
really
school.
been into relationships?
No. Well, my parents had a horrible divorce, and I remember looking at my parents going, that's not going to be me.
Right.
Motherfuckers, if this is even an option,
Right.
it's not going to be me. And young love was so destructive. I was watching my teenager friends all getting pregnant. And so to me, it was like, if I have a boyfriend, I'm getting pregnant. That's not happening either. Okay. The first time I had sex, when I was dating, I had a little boyfriend at the time, and he wanted to have sex, and everybody was already doing it. We were behind, and I was like, all right. I went to the school nurse, and I'm like, so the boy I'm seeing wants to have sex, and my biggest fear in life is to get pregnant. So she directed me to Planned Parenthood. I came home with the instructions. I was like, we can have sex for 90 days. It takes 90 days for the shit to kick in. And it was an organized plan at a young age because I just didn't want to have a young baby.
Right. Yeah, so it's like January, and you're like, okay, we can have sex in April.
And what's funny is my friends that had those babies so young, when I go home, their kids are like, they're just 25. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. You know how much fun I've had over the last,
I've traveled the world? You've been raising this beast?
Yeah. Like, I pissed off politicians.
Yes, I did big shit.
Yeah, I did huge shit. And you don't want to have kids now.
No, I don't. I'm not. I mean, I love other people's children.
Right.
But
You
when
like
I
having
chose
good- you like having
at
fun.
30, when I got divorced, and I chose to get back in the business, this was when the internet pops in like '97, and I realized my product is going nowhere. My nudity and my sex is already out there.
Right.
I can go and make this something really incredible. And if I make that choice, I have to choose to never have children, because this is something that you put in other people's lives.
Yes.
And it's a responsible choice. And I had an agency for 4 years. And while I had that agency, there were quite a few situations where the mom didn't tell the teenagers, and the teenagers found out in school through other kids.
And then you do become Stifler's
what
mom.
I watched them go through
Yeah.
was so traumatic. And I thought, yeah, that's got to be, you got to make that choice. There's choices in life.
Right.
And this is a tough one. It's like being a celebrity is also hard if you have a child, because they have no normalcy and there's always cameras in their face. There's a lot of things you got to look at and go, how much harder is this kid's life going to be because of the things that I've done?
And yeah, and how much do I want that?
Right.
Right. And
Right.
if you don't even want a relationship.
It's already a struggle.
Right.
Yeah, I might do the relationship thing. I'm not opposed. It's just not. It's not a rush.
Yeah. Right. And why? Yeah. Because especially if you don't want to get pregnant, like why?
This is the thing, and that's why it's great, because if you don't want to have kids, you don't have to get married. You don't have to be serious, and you
Yeah.
don't have to live together.
Right. Now, did you start hanging out, banging athletes because you were a sports fan? And it's like, because I feel like, if I was a fan of something and it was all female, and I was like, I could just go have sex with a bunch of them, and that's just what I do in my social life, I'd be like, it's a great life.
Well, what was great
Like,
for me
I'm a
was,
pro wrestling fan, right?
oh my gosh, I had dinner with Paul Heyman last night.
Paul Heyman and me we go back.
He's such a charismatic, incredibly inspiring person.
He's done the show many times.
He's so great.
Next time you see him, you'll have to bring me up.
I already did last night. He was very proud of me that I was doing your show.
Is that right?
He's like, oh, that's great for you, Lisa.
I love it. I love it. So, but what I was saying was, if I had the ability to, if female wrestlers were just like, oh, I like hanging out with Sam Roberts and then we have sex after we watch Netflix, I'd be like, I'm never going to stop doing this ever.
Well, when I started feature dancing in the early 90s, athletes still were very comfortable to come into strip clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tyson hadn't gone to jail yet for taking a girl to his hotel room. I mean, the world was still a consensual place.
Right.
And these athletes would come in, and the girls would notice they had money, but I would recognize them. So as soon as I recognized them, I was like,
Oh,
yo,
because all
that's-
these other girls.
They didn't know who they were.
Right.
They just thought they were, rich,
So-
good-looking dudes.
So the athletes are even more comfortable because it is kind of anonymous because these chicks, dumb as rocks and don't watch
Don't even
sports.
care.
So,
And I'd be like, yo, I know who that is. I know who that is. So it was, for me, it was like I was a fan, they were a fan. It was a very mutual fanhood,
Yeah.
and it was fun.
yeah, we're in the Mutual Admiration Society. I love your work. Yeah. You love sports.
I can get you porn. You can take me to games. This all works.
So that's what it is. That's why you like hanging out with athletes
It's simple.
because you like sports. And
Yeah.
it's like, I get to bang the guys that I'm fans of.
And they tell me great stuff like that. I get to hear stories about practice. I get to
Right.
I always have questions about the different products players use on their hands, stick them. I'm always breaking shit down, and then I get some little knowledge.
Yeah, but it must be impossible to talk with you about sports or athletes because you have all these little tidbits that no sports fan would have because you've slept with the athletes. And it's like, all right, Lisa, I guess you're the expert.
Yes.
I'd be so annoyed. Be I spent years researching this and that and this and that. And you're like, no, he told me after we banged the other night.
Yeah,
Oh.
it doesn't work that way. I know what's really going on. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. Were you surprised? You ended up taking some selfies. This was like a year ago at this point.
Oh,
With that
yes.
18-year-old kid from Notre Dame. And it was like everybody thought it became this moral thing. Like you posted is this 18-year-old college player from Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
And you post photos on your Instagram.
Yeah, 2 photos at a Knicks game with clothes on.
Right.
With clothes on
Right.
at a Knicks game.
We're just hanging out watching
Regular
the game.
people. Yeah.
And people are like, "What the fuck is going on? He's 18 and she's 40."
He's beautiful and he's dreamy. and I was just fulfilling my inner MILFdom. I can't help it.
Yeah.
The world wanted me to shoot these MILF scenes
Right.
and put me with these young guys, and then it became my life a little bit too. I just can't help that.
Look, young people are attractive.
He's a sexy beast.
He is?
He's a sexy beast. He's such a good kid too. We still see each other and hang out. But when that happened,
I know what that means.
hang out. When that happened, of course, we were sleeping and we wake up and I wake up to my phone and, it makes you realize like, I guess my Instagram's kind of popping because people like notice these 2 pictures.
Right.
And it was just all these people. Was this you? And I'm like, why is this such a big deal?
Right.
And then I realized, it's a code of conduct at Notre Dame that those students are not supposed to have sex out of wedlock.
Isn't that like so stupid though? For a college.
Where there's date rape?
Yeah. Yeah. For
Highest case of date rape, college campuses?
Yeah.
Not at Notre Dame, because none of the students here even have sex.
Right. We have a campus full of virgins.
Yes.
Yeah.
They only have sex at home at their parents' house with their neighbor that they grew up with. And what the fuck?
Yeah. It says the university embraces the Catholic Church's teaching.
But it was great PR for me.
It had to have been.
It was great PR for me. Like, everyone thinks they're insulting me. I'm like, you're blowing me up as a MILF. Shout out.
With 2 things.
Blessed.
Yeah, hashtag blessed. 2 things. Number 1, that was when you were still working in the business.
Yes.
So it increased the MILF business tenfold. And that's when really it became super clear to everybody that you were dating, that you were hanging out, banging athletes, which makes even more of the transition into sports and fantasy sports and everything. And it's like, because Lisa Ann is a sports fan. That's why she bangs athletes.
And this kid was smart. He watched tape and interviews. So we crossed paths about 2 months before that game, where I was at a restaurant near the club where I was going to be dancing. And he came up to me and he told me his name. And he's like, I play football for Notre Dame. And I was like, look at this boy dropping exactly what I want.
Right.
He knows exactly what I want. This is done. This is happening in my hotel tonight. And it was one of those really shitty cities where they try to get you the nicest hotel in the city.
Right.
So it was like this really shady hotel, but it had a hot tub in the corner that had like carpet like stapled up on it. And I'm like, the week I meet the hot dude, I can't be at like a Westin. I got to tell him like, we're kind of at a ghetto hotel, but it is the best room at the ghetto hotel.
In the ghetto hotel.
The towels are still prison towels. They will exfoliate.
Right.
Those hard-ass fucking cheap towels.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All the dry follicles just peel off.
And then you remember the Matt McGann story. Matt is the kid that made the college game day sign.
Yes, of course. You brought him to the
He's the greatest ever.
AVN
We've become
Awards.
like best friends twice. Like I went to his school and spent a week there last year.
This is what's crazy. So this kid.
But we never had sex. We just became great friends.
What a fucking lame story for that kid. I mean, it's good for you, but that sucks. He made a sign.
Well, but the great thing about it was he was so worried I was offended, and I wasn't offended.
What did the sign say? So he makes a sign for college game day that you end up seeing the sign. What did the sign say?
It said, Baylor's defense has more holes to fill than Lisa Ann. I loved it. I just thought, this
You
is
enjoyed that.
clever. I thought it was fucking clever.
It is clever.
Because for me, knowing college game day and they have inspectors, I really wanted to ask him how he got it past the inspectors.
Sure.
I had questions. So it was a trifold sign, and when the inspectors were there, it said something different, and then he popped it open when they turned around.
I can see, and it's done on an angle.
He did a great job.
He's very
clever.
Smart kid.
And I pictured him and his friends, at their dorm, making this sign. And the moment itself was what intrigued me. And I was like, I got to meet this kid. So I put it out to Twitter and I said, hey, somebody's got to help me find this kid. 4 hours later, one of my female fans, Taylor, she says, it's him. This is the kid right here. This is the play-by-play of them making the sign last night. They slept out. So I reached out to him by direct message, and we've been friends ever since.
How come you didn't sleep with him?
When we met, it was such a tough situation because we were at a public setting at AVN, and I realized he was really intrigued by my culture.
Because the AVN Awards are, of course, the big porn awards.
Yeah.
It's the Oscars of pornography.
He was really intrigued by my culture, and he was really respectful. And right away, our friendship became like a friendship. And if it's just not that I just want to fuck you, but I don't want to hang out with you. Maybe we'll play games, but I'm not spending a whole week. I spent a whole week with him and his friends at college.
But can I tell you,
I would go spend time with his parents who have invited me for holidays.
That's amazing.
They're the coolest people ever. They thought it was so dope that I loved the sign and that I invited them to AVN.
But I have to tell you that that's not how he feels. He definitely wants to have sex with you.
I don't think so because
you're wrong.
He sees how everyone else treats me and speaks to me on Twitter, and I think he likes that he's something different. And I find that with some people.
But he likes that he's something different, but he thinks that you're gonna fall in love with that, and then you're gonna you're gonna like him more. Unfortunately, he doesn't realize that that's not how the female brain works.
Do you realize his teachers let me go to class with him for a week at his school?
He's just made all the mistakes. He invited you to be his friend, thinking that you would have this deep relationship and you wouldn't just have sex, you'd make love. That's what he thought was going to happen. And then you turn around and you're like, isn't it fun that we're buds? And he's like, Yeah, super fun.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's happening.
All right, good to know.
Have you put people in the friend zone before? Because, I mean, that's got to suck specifically with you because you're very public with, I mean, not names, but that you're a sexual person.
Yeah, but there's definitely an element like with some dudes where it's like, I think they might want to go there. And I'm not saying this about Matt at all, but like, I'll give you an example. I met this guy, a comedian from New York.
Okay.
And he wanted to go on a date.
Was it Jim Norton?
No.
Okay.
But I didn't want to go on the full date, so I thought, let's just meet for a drink. That's common. You meet somewhere, you know.
How come you didn't want to go on a full date?
Because it seemed awkward by the texting. He was very text heavy, and I was like, this guy might be needy. Maybe I should just have one drink with him and see how it plays out.
That way you can cut bait.
I could cut bait. And right when I was with him, I realized I think he slammed a couple drinks before we met because he's nervous to be around me. And when I sense a guy's nervous, then I know we can't fuck.
Right.
We just can't fuck.
Right. Because I mean, these athletes are alpha males.
Not only that, I'm going to ruin his sexual future because all of his friends are going to be waiting for the report card. He's going to come home like rocking in the corner because he either came in 2 seconds or couldn't get hard.
Right.
I don't want to do that to a dude.
Does that happen? People can't get hard because they're too nervous?
I can sense it. And when I sense
you know it's going to happen, so you don't let it.
So I don't let it happen.
I see.
I'm always protective of the male ego.
I see.
And I don't want to put anyone in a spot. And that guy must have had a couple drinks before we go out. Then he orders some like cherry cola mixed drink, and the waitress, and I'm like Jameson neat in a bottle of water, and the waitress looks at me. She's so Jersey. She looks at me when he orders his drink like, what the fuck's this guy?
Oh no!
He slams the drink, and next thing you know, he's almost passed out. Now we're at this bar for one drink, and I'm like, oh my god, these people are gonna think I date raped this fucking oafy looking big white guy. Like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, it was Louis Anderson, wasn't it?
No.
Oh. Man, that's.
So I sense it, and when a guy can really approach me, and I can sense that they're not afraid, I'm like, it's kind of like an animal. I can know the scent.
Yeah, you know. I mean, you've been there. But does it surprise you then when somebody who's, even though they're an athlete, they're younger, they're, you know, this kid was 18 that we were talking about before, but 18, 19, 20, 21, like they're still developing as a person. Does it surprise you when they can come at you with like crazy confidence?
Well, they watch tapes. So these guys have been watching me since they were like 13, 14, right? I'm not saying I can.
Right, they're athletes. They know how to prepare for an opponent.
It says that they're 18. It's not my fault. I'm just letting y'all know that. I'm not saying that I think minors should be watching it.
Right.
Full disclosure there. But yeah, so they already know what they're getting into, and they've been watching me for so long. Like they know things I do and don't like. They'll put their hand in a spot that they see as like a regular spot on a scene. I'll just kind of turn back and look. Go, oh, you watch a lot of tape.
Yeah. You've done your homework.
Good for you.
You respect that.
Good for you.
That's amazing.
Studying is important.
That's amazing. Well, speaking of the industry, we were talking about this a little bit on email, but what do you think of James Deen? James Deen is one of the biggest male performers in the industry, big enough that he's actually done mainstream movie work as well.
Mainstream movie work.
Yeah, which is like the fact that he's not on at the same time, like simultaneously.
And they've asked him to go further in mainstream, and he just doesn't have the desire. He likes doing porn.
Right.
He's good at it. He makes great money. He knows his schedule, and it's not as taxing. So it works.
But a whole bunch of people have come out and said that, well, they've said a lot of stuff about him.
Yeah.
They've said that he doesn't treat people well on sets. They've said that he's raped performers.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I was talking about it last night. I don't understand. Does that happen? Do performers get raped?
Not on my watch. Like, not that I've ever seen. And on all the sets I've been on, I feel like if a guy was ever not appropriate to me, there's a director or a cameraman within 5 feet of you at all times, maybe 10 feet. I'm not going to say these situations didn't happen because I wasn't present. And I don't know what happens between these people alone. But my beef is really, this isn't the appropriate way to go about these things. And the teaming up and the bullying and the going on social media and the doing press, I feel like there's a more respectful way. If you have a problem, you go to the police, you file a police report, you go to that producer on set that day, you tell them something happened. Why hasn't anybody complained before now? And now there's all these bandwagoners. And I just feel bad for him because it can put you in a very dark place. And you don't ever know how depressed or sad somebody's going to get when people are coming at them in this way. His entire livelihood being just ripped out from underneath him. And he has a right to defend himself.
Isn't it possible, though, that because he's such a big A-level performer, that like these chicks, the same way when the Bill Cosby story broke, these chicks, they're afraid to mention things to producers. They don't want to get on his bad side because he probably controls a lot of stuff or is friends with a lot of producers or whatever it is. I mean, aren't there a lot of...
The girls are more valuable than the guys no matter what. The girl gets booked first always. So the girl's what sells the product. So he can't control their work that much. And sure, there could be some of these reasons, but when I see ex-girlfriends especially.
Well, yeah, because I was going to say Joanna Angel.
This concerns me. When
was on the radio.
ex-girlfriends come forward with bad stories after a breakup, I feel like if you're in a bad relationship, get out of it. If you don't handle things right away, legally or anything you want, don't bring it up later. Just move on with your life and let them move on with their life. Because you stayed with somebody for 6 years. And if you're saying you were unhappy the whole time and now 6 years later you'd like to talk about it, well, that's kind of a thing of the past. And you know, you probably just should have broken up with him sooner if he was miserable to you.
Right. And you're saying that even if you didn't, if you weren't going to bring this up as soon as you broke up, why bring it up now? I mean, I would say the only response would be that people may feel more comfortable or safer bringing this stuff up to the light when they know that other people have brought it up.
And I get it, but I just feel like I feel like we've gone too far with social media, and when people are allowed to talk about without having a credible paperwork, police reports, or anything like this, because you're defaming somebody and you're attacking their character, and we're guilty until proven innocent in this country.
So you know him.
I do know him very well, and I've been checking on him through the whole process.
So if this were true, it would surprise you.
Yeah,
based on the guy that you know.
Yes. And I mean, I stopped working with James probably 5 years ago because our sexual styles grew apart. You know, the business has made the guys get a lot more aggressive. The scenes that you see out there now, I mean, in the 90s, there was never a guy that put a hand on a girl's throat. And now that's normal to see that in a movie. It's very common. And it got to the point with some of the guys I worked with where that was what they needed to do in order to come. That was what they needed to do to get off, because they're shooting scenes maybe 25 days a month. They're taking Viagra. They're numbing out their body.
Yeah.
So they're going to these different extremes. And when it gets to that extreme with me, I just say to the guy, like, you know, it's not my style. So I just rather us not work together anymore, but we're cool. And that's fine. It's always a woman's choice. And I just was never into aggressive sex. So it just didn't work for me.
Do you think that there are actresses who may not have that sort of presence of mind or confidence? Because you seem
100%.
like 100%. Because I've interviewed a lot of porn stars, and you're more confident than most of them.
And when I got in the 90s, you could ask the producer, who am I working with? And they would say to you, who do you want to work with? Everything was the girl's choice in the 90s.
Is that different now?
Way different, because girls are coming in every day and they come and go as fast as they can. So the agents don't spend hours anymore prepping the girl mentally, telling her how to act on set, telling her what her rights are. They're just like, it's a machine.
And if you don't like it, leave, because there's another one coming.
Right.
Wow.
Whereas in the 90s, it was like there's only so many of us, and they really treated us like stars. I mean, we had craft services, we had food trucks, we had everything. What was your menu going to be for the 4 days on set? It'd be 1 day of sex, 3 days of dialogue. It was this whole production on a real movie set somewhere in the desert. It was so much fun. We'd stay in a shady hotel, and somebody would always bring a guitar. We'd sit up and smoke weed outside. It was great. But now it's like we're shooting 1 million scenes a week because the internet needs so many different niches. You got different types of groups of scenes, and you need the new girl. Even if she's hideous, she's new, so we'll shoot her like 3 times, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just different. So I do believe the lines can get blurred, where a male performer is working this often, and these producers and directors are having him do these styles of scenes. But I also think this should translate to the public's eyes of understanding this is also what we're letting a lot of young men view. And they don't know the difference yet. And now that you can see porn on your phone for free, which I couldn't see when I was a kid,
of course,
I don't know if seeing that at 13 would make me think it is normal to put my hand around some girl's throat.
I mean, it definitely does start to shape your sexuality.
Of course.
Way differently, way quicker, way younger.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I mean, most we saw was magazines.
Right. But on that, I mean, I remember, you know, I would jerk off to scrambled up porn that you get through the cable. Like, you'd see one nipple jumping up and down on the screen.
Once in a while, you'd hear a full moan, and you'd be like, I think that, like, did something.
That was enough. That would make me calm.
My heart was racing.
Yeah. But on that note, then, so there is this possibility that it may be tougher for girls to speak up for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of the girls don't want to give up the money. They haven't put a nest egg aside. It's just like when you asked about somebody showing up with an outbreak. I always knew that I didn't need the money that day. Some girls would tell me, I really need the money. I'm going to do it anyway.
Now, do you think that, too, I don't understand how people make money in porn anymore. You know what I mean? Like, just because there's so much of it for free. Like we said, when I was growing up, wasn't that long after, you know, you were growing up, porn was on cable, so you could get an illegal cable box, but other than that, you were paying for it.
Yep.
It was in magazines you bought, and when you finally could find it on the internet, it was like a 3-second clip, or it was like a single photo
and you
that
were
took
on
15
dial-up,
minutes to
so
load.
you couldn't get it to load. And you're like waiting
Exactly.
for that one part of a vagina to come in. It's like stuck right below her belly button. You're like, just load that little bit.
Yeah. Even by the time I got to college, it was like you had to get onto like Kazaa or Napster or something like that and put in the right keywords, and even then it wouldn't be what you wanted.
Love
and,
it.
yeah.
And you'd end up somewhere else. Get me out of here. I don't want this on my computer.
Yeah. You'd have all these fun. Your computer would
It's
just
different.
go to shit because it's full of viruses.
We're more well known than ever now. So if a new girl wants to come in and work and market herself, she's still going to make $1,000 a day to shoot scenes. So let's say she shoots 8 scenes a month. That's $8,000. It's a lot of money.
So where does the money come from? Like, I get the exposure part of it, because you definitely do become more famous way quicker because your scenes just, go out to everybody.
The best money is feature dancing and doing appearances at nightclubs. Like tomorrow night, I'm in Detroit at the Toy Chest. I just host. I do photos with everyone. The best money is doing live appearances.
It's like
you
music.
Can fill the room.
It's
You can now fill the room. So my goal was, after Palin, I did about 42 to 47 weekends a year on the road.
Wow.
To plan my retirement. But it was great because that's where your real money is. You're meeting your fans. You're selling your merch. You're dancing. It gives you a little break from shooting.
Yeah.
Then I only had to shoot 5 days a month to keep my name really active and to keep my product out there, and that was perfect.
Yeah.
But it becomes like when the girls come in at first, the agents book them like 15 scenes in a row and then 15 scenes. So now they have $15,000 and $15,000. Then the work slows down. But they're not popular enough to go out on the road. So they don't know what to do in the meantime. And that's when they could webcam or start a little website. You just have to be always doing different things. You have to have 7 or 8 things going on now to make money, whereas before you could just shoot movies and make money.
Right. So you actually have to do some work.
You have to do some work.
Which is honestly good, because you can take that sort of, knowledge to create a business.
No doubt.
And take it elsewhere, like you're doing now, where you're doing a radio show and you're going out on the road.
You
you're
learn to
like,
manage your time.
Right.
You learn to book your travel. You learn to communicate with the agents. You learn to get new promo made. You ship your packages to the clubs. Like, you're doing stuff, and it does give you a purpose other than just going on set and having sex.
Right. Not the going on sex and having sex.
No, but if I had to do it 5 days a week, like I always looked at the girls that wanted to do it full time. Like, I want to do 20 scenes a month. I was like, man, no desire.
Yeah. Were you having a lot of sex when you were actively shooting scenes? Like how when you were actively working?
5 days a month was what I would shoot.
Oh, so you'd only do 5 scenes a month?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you could actively have sex in your personal life.
Yep.
5 scenes. So that's like 1 a week, maybe 2.
Yep.
That's perfect.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
You just had the whole...
I could look forward to it.
Yeah.
It was totally different than the sex I was having at home.
Right.
So it was just enough. But when I would see the girls, like, girl would say, I just worked 10 days in a row. I'm like,
why?
God, I would be on so many antibiotics. Again,
that's true.
Back to the antibiotics.
Too many showers. Do you ever... So you don't get skeeved out being with, like, athletes or anything like that?
No, because they're phenomenal with their health. They're always getting tested for things. They eat clean. They're fit. They're very, very cautious of their health.
Yeah, and Magic Johnson must have scared everybody.
And you know what else? Their athletes are the easiest to get them to put a condom on of any people in the civilian world.
They're not trying to knock up anybody.
No, they're not.
Like, they don't need any STDs.
No.
They don't need anyone ever finding out about any of this.
They've read about the athletes that have 8 babies and 7 baby mamas.
Right. If we could, I don't ever want anybody finding out about this. So if we could just destroy any DNA that could exist, let's do that.
Yeah, let's just do that. Flush that while you're at it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I do meet my random civilian here and there, and I have some repeat offenders in my life that are civilians, not athletes, just regular people.
How do those civilians, how do they win you over?
Usually it's a sense of humor, meeting through a friend, feeling comfortable with them, because I know people, it's hard to meet a stranger and feel comfortable, but if they have a mutual friend, and it just becomes casual.
And then they just say something, you laugh, and all of a sudden...
Let's have sex.
Let's watch Netflix and then have sex and play video games. Yeah, that's got to be good. If they're a civilian that's like, you play Call of Duty, and you're like, we should do that.
Let's play Call of Duty.
So if you ask somebody to play video games, like if you're hanging out with somebody.
I have the Wii Network in LA, so I'm into the Dance Dance Revolution, golf, tennis, bowling, because you're getting a little active too.
But there's a good chance that there will be sex after the video games.
Of course there's going to be sex after. If you're in my house, there's most likely going to be sex, unless you're telling me you have a cold.
So
you know what I mean? If I cook dinner for you,
right,
you deserve to pay me back by having sex with me. It's a fair trade.
I mean,
I'm doing the dishes as well. I'm not even asking to clear your plate.
That sounds like a terrifically fair trade to me.
I've learned to cook by entertaining men.
Have you ever played video games with this guy in college who made the sign for you?
No, we didn't play video. But
no
we did
video
we
games.
did marathons after school every day. We watched marathons of Maury Povich in the dorm, like in the apartment with all the kids from school.
Right.
Because it's just the greatest stupid show ever after school. And they'd make me these like sandwiches with 3 pieces of bread and they had like tater tots and
Right.
they'd cook it. And I was like, when in Rome, this
Yeah.
is what you guys eat.
It's so funny that you're just like, I this is what I love about you, that you are you've given up on not only judging people in situations, but allowing yourself to be judged. It's just like, no, this is fun.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do this. Like,
Yeah.
I have the money to fly out to this college. I'm going to hang out in this kid's dorm
Yeah, why not?
and eat fucking sandwiches and watch Maury Povich.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And we just had a great time.
Right.
It was just
Right.
a great time. I'd walk by campus and be like, hey, Lisa, what's up? I'm like the mascot there.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I called myself MILF Mascot in my book. In the section where I write about Matt and all the young guys in my life, that's called MILF Mascot. Because I'm just a fairy god MILF.
It's amazing that you've been able to be like the queen of the MILFs without any kids.
Well, that's why I think I'm so good at it.
Yeah.
Because I'm only taking care of myself.
Right.
And every time I won a MILF award, I would say, I'm only good at this because I don't have kids.
Right.
Because otherwise I'd be concerned about someone else and maybe I wouldn't be doing a gangbang.
Right. And honestly, like, if you're the MILF of the year, once you're accepting that award, if you've got kids, you're probably a bad mother, which would make you can't be a good MILF and a bad mom, right?
Yeah, this is tricky. We call that Mom of the Year. Like when girls are doing really bad, I'm like, oh, she's getting the Mom of the Year award. Woo! Yeah, that'll pay you back when that kid's 16 and robbing shit. Okay?
Yeah, yeah. But for you, you know, and so you'll sit by the Christmas tree this year and think to yourself, it was a year ago today that I was getting gangbanged.
Yeah.
And now,
December 15th was my retirement.
December 15th, that's
Yep.
soon. That's like...
And it's also the day I'm releasing my book on the 1-year anniversary of my
Is that
retirement.
right?
Yeah,
That's
that'd be special.
amazing. That's amazing.
I thought it'd be special. I retired by a handwritten letter on my Facebook to my fans.
And you just like took a photo of it and put it up? That's
Yeah.
great.
It was a really personal way to just be like, yo, this was cool. You can still love it. I want you to watch it all the time. You can still talk to me
That's
about
the way.
it.
Embrace it.
But I'm out.
Right.
You know, my dad said a lot of strange things to me growing up. He was like always like telling me things like, if someone pulls a gun on you and they don't use it in the first 2 seconds, you're gonna live. And he also said, you were born alone, you're gonna fucking die alone.
Right.
So do whatever the fuck you want.
Really?
And he
Even
had-
if it means somebody in Starbucks is going to remind you of their favorite gangbang.
My parents aren't together anymore. I
Right.
don't know how my mom married him because they're so crazily different. My dad's got a wonderful amount of insanity in him.
Right.
That as a young person annoyed me, but now as an adult, I can look at him and think he's fucking genius.
Right.
He's Larry David, but as an alcoholic. And he's a midget. He's only 5'2", this little aggressive Italian dude that still works out, 80 years old, shredded, runs, works out. Like I go there, he's pushing a lawnmower on his acre. I'm like, why don't you get a fucking riding mower? You know what I mean? No.
Fuck that.
Fuck that shit. You
Yeah.
know, gold chain, dope. And I look back at those things, I'm like, it's because of him telling me, you're bored alone, you're going to fucking die alone, do what you want. I don't think he realized what he was throwing out there.
I'm really going to do what I want. Wait till you see what I want to do, because I'm
He was
going to
like,
do all of it.
Tell me to do what I want. I mean, I have no criminal record.
Right.
I'm paying my taxes.
Right.
What's wrong with this picture?
Right.
It's his illegal job.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. So the book comes out December 15th. Is this your whole life? Is this specifically in the industry?
It's kind of my life, a brief short story of my childhood, some of the characters that played a great role in my life. And then it really just goes into like when I started writing to the porn companies in the business when I was 18, because I wanted to get out to California so bad. And I was like already stripping, hiring photographers, super creepy photographers in Reading, Pennsylvania, just like random people. And then I would mail the photos to LA, wait for them to write back to me. And it was like a 2-year process to get in.
You were such an enterprising adult entertainer.
Yes. I would interview all the porn stars at Al's Diamond Cabaret, and I'd ask them stuff like, how do I get on the box cover? What do I need to know when I get to California? Is there anybody I definitely shouldn't talk to? Like,
Wow.
who are bad people?
You were motivated for this.
2 years. And some of the features fucking hated seeing that I was still there because I was like, this fucking bitch is going to ask me a bunch of questions. Again, she already fucking asked me before. So I learned a lot from them. And some of the girls were great. They gave me direct contacts. And so after 2 years, companies would write me back. The first one was, you got to get your nose done. I had a huge Italian nose. Huge. So I was like, all right. I want to do this, okay, I'll work a little bit more, put the money aside, get my nose done. Then I write back, you need to get your boobs done. In the 90s, you could not get into porn without having boobs.
Right.
Now the girls will have flat boobs, but they have this big fake ass.
Right.
It looks like we've reversed the world.
We
like
kinda
they're
have.
walking backwards.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I still think tits should be somewhat mandatory.
You think so? You're old school, though.
You know, if you have nice natural ones,
Right.
and I'm great with it, you know what I mean? But
But I heard you.
I like a beefed out for the porn girls. It's kind of a look.
And I read that you got a breast reduction after you left the business.
Deflategate. I sure did in December.
Deflategate.
That's what we call it on the sports show.
Yeah, I love it.
So I did my own Deflategate, which is
Right.
great. I'm running for the first time in my adult life.
Because you couldn't run with those things
No,
before.
I'm
but
still
honestly,
two sports bras. But before it just would have been.
yeah, I mean they're not small by any means. No,
because I'm small, right?
Right,
But
right.
they were big.
Well, yeah, I mean you couldn't have been as effective of a nail in Palin if they weren't as big as they were.
Exactly. It's like a porn license plate.
It is.
And so I did the boobs. And then once the boobs and nose were done, I saw the huge hair. Finally, someone was like, come out. So I did it. Bought a one-way ticket, went out there.
Well, you can read about all this in the book once it comes out on December 15th. Lisa Ann, I love it.
This was great.
Thanks for watching another video from Sam Roberts Show. There's no the, and there's an apostrophe after the S. It's possessive. We upload videos every day, so make sure you, right there below, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on social media. All the links are right there. Just do it.